Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So after the European Championship, I promised myself to try to test other Blackwing decks. I already have a lot of different. I'm gonna play the indestructible one. I'm gonna play the Cali. So this today is the King Calamity build. We already won locals. I already won a local with this deck. So this is definitely a competitive deck. I'm not 100% sure if it's ready for regional. Maybe yes. Okay, I haven't tested this. That's why I'm only saying for locals. It's definitely worth playing. Okay, definitely. You're gonna win a lot of locals with this deck. And I actually lost 3 dice rolls and still won. So this just speaks for itself. And in general, this deck is fun, but I don't believe it's more competitive than the Caligo build. Why? Because this deck loses against a simple Nibiru. It does not really lose against it because if you still have full Armor Master with Shanga in the graveyard and still your access to your Blackwing soldering whatsoever, there's still a lot of ways to win, okay? But your main combo by trying to go into King Calamity loses against Nibiru, so that really sucks. But besides that, man, this deck is legit. Okay, it 100% is, and I'm enjoying it. Enjoyed every single minute with it. The fun factor of this deck is above the roots, okay? So try this deck, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, let's go and check out the deck. Alright guys, let's start with the main deck. Obviously, one of the best cards in this deck, Simoon, 3 times. There's not much to say about this. This one gives you access to Black Whirlwind, if you didn't know, from your deck. So you can play easily under anti-spell, and even if you get eradicated in the standby draw phase, it's not a problem. If you have him on your hand, it's still sim over, like we love to say. Get 3 copies of him, and then the next best card, maybe I actually like this one sometimes more than Simoon, because if you start with Simoon, you're running right into Nibiru. If you start with this one, it sometimes even way better for you. But yeah, Zudri, don't forget this card is not a hard once per turn. The first effect is a soft once per turn, so if you recycle him with Shamal and a normal summon again, it's another search. So that's really nice. And then 3 times Shamal. I don't understand, some people are playing 2 or 1. For me, it does not make sense because him and Vata is already full combo into King Calamity, or if you don't want to go into King Calamity, even other boards are possible with this card. So you definitely want to play those at 3. And in addition, him and Black Whirlwind is also full combo, so that's pretty nice. By the way, if you're playing like only 1 and then 2 Black Feather Whirlwinds and you got one of them on your hand, it also sucks. So you don't want to play only 1. Especially if you get eradicated and you lose the first Black Feather Whirlwind on your hand and you still got him, then you can search for the second one. So that's pretty cool. So you want to play those at 3 and the Black Feather Whirlwind at least 2. Next up, we got 3 times the Father, Vata. I mean, him alone is just insane, especially in the grind game. We are playing 2 Blackwing Dragons, so him alone in the grind game is going to be really huge. That's why you definitely want to play 3 of those. And usually him and the Black Whirlwind, thanks to Shanga, is also now a really big combo that you want to do. So a must at 3. And then we got 1 time Zephyros. You can play 2, but we're trying to make this deck as competitive as possible by also drawing other hand traps and ball breakers whatsoever. That's why we're only playing 1. And you don't necessarily need him. Like, obviously, he's a great addition to play also through interruptions. But if you have him on your hand and you're forced to banish him, you can special summon him again with the Black Feather Whirlwind. But if you banish him face down with small word whatsoever, it's also fine. You don't 100% need him, but it's cool. By the way, don't forget, if you're using this Disparta's effect and this card is banished, you can also shuffle him back. Okay, so don't forget about that. Next up, we have Hamaton, Shanga, Orochi, Chinook, and Orochi. Those are the last Blackwing monsters that we have and that we are playing. Those are basically also there to send Zephyros to the graveyard with Vata's effect. That's why we're playing those 2. In addition, Hamaton is just a great extender that you ultimately can recycle to your hand with Shamal's effect. So that's also really huge. And Chinook full Arm Master and Shanga in the graveyard usually is enough to even win games. So that's why you definitely want to play those. And Orochi is here because you're going to need him to go into King Calamity, plus also to summon Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, so that you do not lose against Dark Ruler or other board breakers. Because in your opponent's main phase, he always has priority. So what that means is he's gonna activate either Dark Ruler, whatever, or even an Imperm, whatever it is, or Lightning Storm. So you're gonna negate it with Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and then you can on Resolution you got priority, and you can immediately go into your King Calamity. So that's why you definitely need a Roshi to negate the first interruption. Next up, we are playing one Assault Synchron. This card is insane. It's a great small world bridge. I'm going to show you in a minute why this card is also a great small world bridge. And besides that, if you have him on your hand with Zudri, it's also full combo. So Zudri becomes more effective thanks to Assault Synchron, and in general, as an extender, it's just huge to have him. It's a really, really cool card. And besides that, him and Abyssal is also really insane. Yeah, so you definitely want to play at least one of those. I've tried to play multiple ones, but it can also backfire. That's why I believe one is perfect. And then we're playing one Twin Shadow. In this deck, we have to play this. It's just too good. And especially for the grind game, or after we get Nibiru, you still have this card set. It ultimately gives you, not ultimately gives you a win, but it puts you like in a winning situation, this card, thanks to Silverwind and or Full Armor Master. And then for the other spells, we have 2 times Black Flare Whirlwind. We can play 3, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like it's more consistent playing only 2. But yeah, and then the other Whirlwind, which is the Black Whirlwind, we're gonna play 3 because him, Zudri, him and Shamal, or even him and Vata is already like a big board. So we're gonna definitely play it like that. And then the most expensive card in our deck is 3 times Pot of Prosperity. I understand the card is really expensive. I understand that, but trust me, it's worth it. You don't want to play this deck without this. I mean, competitive wise, if you want to go to regionals whatsoever, you're gonna need those. Especially going second when you banish 6 cards, you want to see that Dark Ruler, or you want to see that Evilly, you want to see that Ball Break, whatever it is. Or sometimes even if you see with this gives you a better consistency to search for Simoon, Zudri, Small World. So with this, you should always be able to go into full combo if you brick. So that's really good. And now let's go to our hand chest ball breakers. First of all, the small worlds with the kaiju it's just ultimately having four kaijus. So basically, the small world should be like a search engine, okay? But thanks to the kaiju, it ultimately becomes like you're playing 4 kaijus, okay? And this is great because you're also playing 3 Magnamoods. So basically, if you have a Blackwing monster in your hand, you can banish the Blackwing monster from your hand, banish one of the Bestials, and then add the kaiju. So against Pearly, against Kashtira, whatever, it ultimately puts you in a winning situation, okay? So that's really huge. And the Bestials also great extenders. You can go with those in Disparta, you can go with those and Shanga or with Axel Synchron into your Assault Synchron into Axel Stardust Synchro Stardust Dragon. So it's insane how good those cards as an extender are, and also beautiful small world bridges. And that's also what I'm saying, like the Assault Synchron is really good because if there's a situation where you brick with the kaiju and with the small world, then thanks to the Assault Synchron, you can just banish him from your hand. You're gonna banish him from your hand, banish the Assault Synchron from your deck, and then you can add Simoon to your hand. Okay, so this is also the reason why Assault Synchron makes this deck more consistent, and Radiant isn't ultimately a brick for you anymore. I mean, worst case scenario, you can still add, thanks to the Bestial, Zuji to your hand with the small world bridge, but yeah, that's just how it is, and it's really good. Okay, and then the last 3. Oh no, we got 6 more. So I'm also playing Droll. You can also play Ash, but I'll try to make this deck as consistent as possible, as consistent as possible. And with Small World and Droll Lockbird, you can also, like, let's say for example you got Droll in your hand and Small World. With Ash it does not work, but with Droll it does work. You can activate Small World, banish Droll from your hand, banish the Assault Synchron from your deck, and add Simoon to your hand. So this is also the reason why I'm playing Draw. And in addition, it's also really good against like a lot of combo decks, against Dragon Link, against Manadium, against also I think against Rika maybe. But yeah, it's really good. And then the last, I feel like Dark Will No More is just currently a must in almost every deck because it takes out so many decks. More than 50% of the competitive decks takes out. It takes out Kashtira, it takes out Sprite, it takes out so many good decks. Dragon Link halfway. So Rika also. Rika only has like, I don't know, 1 or 2 more interruptions left, but it's really, really good. So yeah, ultimately, thanks to Small World and Radiant, you're playing almost here. What is this? 13 hand traps, ball breakers, whatever. So that's pretty cool. Okay, and then what else do we have? Yeah, of course, Twin Shadow, I already showed it. We are playing 40 cards in this deck. 40 cards, okay. Let's go to the X deck. Obviously, Berea Storm. It's insane. Like, do not underestimate this card. Like, this gives you so much access to... You can send Shanga to the graveyard. You can send Arashi to the graveyard. Make him level 1. So many combos that you can do thanks to Berea Storm. Or even Zephyros. If Vata gets imped or ashed, you can send with him Zephyros to the graveyard. So do not underestimate this one. And don't forget his second effect. If you're like going second, you can attack one of the opponent's monsters. And if it's like a level 4, 2, 6, whatever it is, just take control of it in main phase. You can use your opponent's monster and him to go into full armor master or whatever it is. Do not forget about the last effect. It's really good. Then we have here Nofung. You already know why Nofung. Great for recycling. And in this deck, specifically in this deck, he is even more worth. It puts more value in the deck because you always want to go into Nofung. Because you're already running into Nibiru. So if you run into Nibiru, then do it right. And you're going to do it with Nofung almost every time. And then, because we are playing the Twin Shadow, you also have to play the Sylvant. And against Sprite or against so many decks, this is already like putting you on your winning condition situation. So, really, really good. And then, obviously... we are playing a Blackwing Dragon, but I'm actually playing 2 Blackwing Dragons just to flex my Ghost Ray Master. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, in the grind game, Vata is just insane. And besides that, there are combos that I did with Zudri and Vata, or Zudri and Shaman in your hand, where you're going to need 2 Blackwing Dragons. This is also the reason why. And just in general, it's just such a good card, man. Playing 2 makes Vata even better, okay? So, yeah. Alright, then, obviously, full Arm Master. Full Arm Master alone wins so many decks, duels, so that's why you definitely want to play full Arm Master. And then, 1 Assault Dragon, and another Assault Dragon. Insane. It's just, having those two on the board, along with the Black Feather Warrant, is also really insane. And usually I don't want to summon those in the game 1. But like, sorry, in turn 1, but in turn 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever, really good to grind. So those are usually there for the grind game. Okay, so and for the rest of the X deck, by the way, this is what I really like. More than half of our X deck is actually Blackwing related. So that's something I just want to put on notice, okay? That's really nice to have it. Not a lot of decks nowadays have more engine in their X deck than anything else, so that's really cool. And then what else do we have here? We got the Shamzan. If we start with Simoon, then we have to go this route, or if we start with only Shamal and Black Werewolf or Shamal and Vata, then we also have to go for this route. That's why we're playing the Sorcat. And then if we start with Zudri and Black Werewolf, or Zudri and Vata, or Zudri and Shamal, whatever, then we want to go with the Axel Stardust Synchro. And if you want to go into King Calamity, then you're also going to need the Stardust Dragon. And then here we also got this part. Yo, this card is insane. I can't tell you how many times this card has saved my ass or saved games. Really, really good card. And then Draco Berserker. Obviously to break boards, and in general, it's so good, man. You definitely want to play Draco Berserker. Don't want to miss him out. then Hot Red Dragon, Ultra the Beast. We're gonna play this one in the deck, otherwise we're gonna lose against Darkwood No More. And I always say, if a deck loses against Darkwood No More, it is not competitive. It's just not competitive. So that's why we have to play him. And the last one is obviously the King Calamity. But I gotta say, guys, what I suggest to do is, if I don't like to go twice in a match into King Calamity, because if your opponent is smart, he's going to keep their hand traps like the Bestial or like an Imperm, and then probably gonna use it like in their turn if they're smart enough. So if you feel like you're playing against someone who knows how this deck works after you abdicate him in turn 1, then I would suggest to build a completely different board in game 3. Okay, just to take him out of the game and show him like, hey, you have no idea what I'm going to build next, because this deck, this is not our winning condition. Okay, we don't have to go into him. The other board that we can build is so easily, we can so easily play with only here. This is the other board that I would always suggest to build, is like having those. Okay, so basically you want to, and this is just one Simoon. I'm sorry, not no, here. One Simoon alone, okay, can give you like this. I think also full arm master, I'm not sure, but you're also gonna have the Twin Shadow set, and the Twin Shadow is also going to give you, once you activate the Twin Shadow, you can first of all get 2 pops, and then also with Shamal you're gonna send Chinook back to your hand. So ultimately Twin Shadow gives you 1 pop and 1 monster negate. And don't forget, in the graveyard you will always have Shanga. Okay, so Twin Shadow alone is already giving you so much. Okay, and then besides that, you still got like the monster negate destruction, the Omni negate, the burn damage, and then potentially destruction. And full arm mass is just the tower that you want to keep on the field. And yeah, so it's insane. You don't have to go into King Calamity, which is why I like this deck so much, because you don't always have to build the same board to win. Because obviously in game 1, when they try to go with Evilly, they try to go with Darkwood or Lightning Storm, they're gonna realize they're failing with that. So that's why in game 3 they're gonna side all those board breakers out and try to beat you with other things or whatever, and then you're gonna build this whole other board, different board. Okay, so yeah, this deck is really hard to pilot. Okay, it really is. I feel like it's even more harder to pilot than the Caliga build, because going second you really need to be careful how to use your interruptions, and in general, like when do you want to go into King Calamity and when not. And do not miss the timing with King Calamity. What I mean by that is, if they, let's say you got him or him, right? These need to be chain 1. If they are chain 2 on, for example, let's say they activate Imperm and then you chain one of those 2, then the King Calamity is always going to miss the timing. Okay, don't you ever forget about that. I keep reading people telling me that they miss the timing. That's the reason, because always on resolution, okay, always on resolution activate those effects. Okay, do never chain those on anything else, always on resolution. Okay, I hope you understood that. And then for the side deck, it always changes. The side deck depends on the meta, always changes, but right now I'm playing 3 times Lightning Storm, and then 3 times Evenly Match, 3 times Ash, 3 times Imperm, and then I'm also playing 3 times Gozen Match. Why am I playing Gozen Match? Because if we do get interrupted a lot, you want to see the Gozen Match of Prosperity or whatever, just also putting you like in a winning situation. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think about this one. Like I said, I already won local with this, so it's definitely worth playing. You're gonna definitely win locals with it, because if I do, then you're also gonna do it, because my locals are damn competitive, like they're really competitive. get really smart and good players over there. And if I'm able, and I'm not like I'm not really a good player. I'm good with Blackwings, that's true, but in general, I'm not really a good player. But if I'm able to win locals with this deck, then you will also be able to do it. I promise, trust me, okay? Alright guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys. Take care and peace.